to the channel, everybody. Anybody that hasn't watched me before, I am Rysel, and this is Rysel 1918. I want to thank everybody for like, comment, and subscribing. 1,150 subscribers today. It's baffling. It's mental, but thank you. I'm just giving my take on things, and hopefully people either agree or disagree. And if you don't agree, come on ahead, let's debate. And if you do agree, happy days. We're all in it together. Leeds fans through and through. Everybody's got an opinion. That's it. Reason why I'm coming on. I wasn't going to come on today, but there is a reason why I'm on. I seen other content creators. They all speak, and they're delving into the likes of the transfer market, who we're going to be going for, and things like that. Obviously, the Farke thing, a lot of people still have different opinions on it. The vast majority, I think, now are on the same camp. Some people are saying, well, if he pulls 1 point per game out in the next 4, well, then does he deserve it? Well, I would suggest, touching on Farke briefly, if he pulls 1 point a game out in the next 4, he still failed, because 1 point per game in the next 4 is 4 points, and he was given 5 games, which would be under the 5 points. So over the course of the season, we'd be dipped down in under the allotted target. The thing about it is, for me, the 49ers gave him 5 matches to save his job ultimately, and he's lost one of those matches. So we are averaging currently, after 11 games, a point a game. However, he now needs to get more than 1 point a game, if we're to believe the reports from Mike Keegan. That would suggest to me that he needs more than a point a game out of Villa, City, Chelsea, Liverpool. And we're not doing that currently. And the run of form we're in is 4 losses out of 5. 5 losses in 6 games away from home. We've got Villa at home, so there's things that we can do better in. And I want to win games, but I just don't want them here. But I'm not going to go mad into Farke. Because it's been talked from now to the cows come home, and we can have debates and we can argue and we can put our points across. Ultimately, we will know next weekend. There is a couple of things I want to talk about, and today it's mainly why I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, not necessarily what's in the news, not necessarily what people expect you to talk about in relation to the 49ers and, the report that come out, or Daniel Farke and different I've done the different managers that we've been linked to. There might be more, etc., etc. I'll touch on things a wee bit, and whenever I'm talking, I'm not delving into all that and stats and all that. I'm just giving my opinion today. I'm going to start with something, and I've been watching a few videos. I watched Imagine Not Being Leeds last night. One of the best videos I've watched in such a long time. The three lads together are just hilarious. Like, to be fair, and the quiz is class. So if you aren't watching it, please watch, like, and subscribe to Matty and Imagine Not Being Leeds, because it's absolutely top drawer. Anyway, the reason why there's people has actually said to me, and I sort of get what they're saying. Why do you always talk about Bielsa? And Farke's not Bielsa. I know he's not Bielsa. 100%. I know he's not Bielsa. But why do you talk about Bielsa? Why are you constantly referring back to Bielsa? And it's a very, very, very simple answer to that question. So it is. It's a very simple answer. The answer is this. When Bielsa came in, we were a shambles. Not just of a team, but as a club. We were 15th. We were languishing in mediocrity, in the middle of nowhere. We had no hope, really, ever. You wanted to try and get into the playoffs every season and not go down, because there was always that possibility. We were one of those mediocre bog standard championship teams after coming up from League One for years. We were a pressing North End of Bristol City. You might have a good year and you come 10th. You might have a good year and come 13th. But we were an absolute mess off the field. We were asset stripped. We were absolutely destroyed. We were taken for granted as a fan base. I'd actually, you know what? We weren't taken for granted. That's naive on my part. We were not taken for granted. We were taken for mugs. We put our money into the club and we got stripped bare, owner after owner. When Marcelo Bielsa came into Leeds United, he just brought so much pride and heart and desire and hope, in not just to the players, to the fan base. It spread. That first game at Stoke, it was like watching prime Barcelona. We were not used to that. We were not used to that. And what we seen, how it finished, and all the rest. And it doesn't matter what way he just had the club. He had it. It was his club. It was our club. He got us. We got him. It was amazing. It was just a time in our lives whenever lockdown happened at the beginning where it was a abysmal time of everybody's life. And the man brought us one of the best days of my life. How can I not talk about that man? How can we not talk about him? Not only did he do that, he changed the fabric of our football club. Where I can turn around now and say Daniel Farke is not good enough. He didn't take the piss out of the fans. He didn't. I said that Daniel Farke, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. And he doesn't. He just doesn't have a connection. Like, he can walk around the pitch clapping and all the rest. Listen, when we were winning in the championship, there wasn't the connection that some people desperately want to have. It just wasn't there. You wanted to support the man because he was a Leeds manager. But on a personal level, it just wasn't there. Bielsa felt like he was us. He was one of our own. You know, there's a difference. So you look back at a successful time, the last successful time we had, and you marry it up against this one, because ultimately Farke was successful in the championship. So you have to look at them and compare them and what's wrong and what's right. And it boils down to the fact that some people just don't get Farke. We don't like his football. You can say what you want about Bielsa in the Premier League. He gave us some of the best days of our lives. Daniel Farke, let's be honest, we got over the line. But I don't. When you look at a Bielsa team and a Farke team, you look at the Bielsa team, we had an absolute dickhead in nets who apparently recently abused someone. Ended up with Melier, you had Bill, you had Coops, Pontus Janssen for a bit. You know, we could go through that entire team. You had Tyler Roberts up front. You know, you had players in the championship that were not great players, and he got those players playing way above themselves. Sturdy Dallas, and then you had the genius of Pablo. You had Clicky. You know, these men are legends at our club. I don't care what people say. In my era, in my lifetime, these men are legends at our club. I love Dallas. I love Coops. I will call Coops out left, right and centre every week. But you can't beat the man as a captain and as a man. Something we are sorely missing today is a real leader. The thing you can marry up and look at Bielsa. Bielsa brought average players, in my opinion, championship players, and elevated them. And we won the league. It was lockdown. It was miserable, and we took over Leeds. It went mental. And then you go to Farke, and you look at Farke. Farke has one of one of, if not the most expensive squad in history. In Championship football. We sold over 100 million worth of talent in 3 players the season that we failed against Southampton and Russell Martin. We brought in the most money in the entirety of world football that season. People forget this. Whenever they talk about PSR and all the rest, people forget that. Daniel Farke brought in players to Leeds last season, and he got us up. But as I say, we can look at the best players in the Championship, and the majority of them are at Leeds. They were at Leeds. So whenever I look at Bielsa and look at Farke, I look a lot of the time at Bielsa and say the man's a genius. He's a genius. Look what he's doing with Uruguay. But if you look at Farke, I'm looking at it going, Daniel Farke got us out of the league, and thank you. However, we had the best players. Yes, we had the most expensive team. We had the most expensive wages in Championship history with one of the smallest squads. So he did his job. You gave him all the tools and he did his job. With Bielsa, it was like, let's invest in that man. Because I'll tell you something, the squad that he took out of that Championship should never have got to the Premier League. You know, you look at the men that he brought up, Bill, Clicky, Coops, Dallas, they were all mid-table Championship players who are now legends. Bill, love him. Clicky, love him. Stewardy Dallas. The man gave his career for us. Coops, he's unemployed. He's 34, unemployed. Talk about going to Sheffield Wednesday. Fuck Sheffield Wednesday. Why are we not getting these men involved? I just don't get it. So whenever you come at me and ask me, oh, it's because of Bielsa and because of this and because of that, and he plays this, talking about other managers, oh, he plays a similar style, you know, or Corbyn, he was there under Bielsa, that's why you take it. No, it's not. It's got nothing to do with that. It might have a bit to do with it. Let's be honest. But the fact of the matter is, Farke just isn't going to be here. So we have to prepare moving forward for what we're going to do without Daniel Farke. And this leads me on quite, I hope I've answered your question. Actually, I can't remember who it was, actually, in one of my comments. It said about, oh, do you only want Corbyn because of his links to Bielsa and all the rest? Number one, I never said I wanted Corbyn. Number two, I actually state regularly on different videos, I don't want Corbyn. I think Rysel is the better candidate out of them all, including Mata. But I've directly answered your question in why I speak that. So how about watch the video, then make an opinion, then comment. Thanks for commenting, by the way. It helps the algorithm, helps me, and it's your opinion. So I will debate you, I will come back to you, and I will answer it. So thank you for the comment. But let's not put words in my mouth. If you watch the video, you can quite clearly see that I'm not a Corbyn lover, and I'm not dying on the hill for Carlos Corbyn. I'm not going to go into the management. I just wanted to make the differentiate between Farke and Bielsa, and why Bielsa's a legend and Farke isn't. Bielsa should get a statue. Harold Wilkinson should get a statue. Revy, you know, you're talking legends of Leeds United. Daniel Farke is not a legend in my eyes. He's a good manager. You know what? He's a top manager at Championship level. But as I say, with Norwich, he took them up twice, and he's failed twice. And with Norwich in the Premier League at the top table. With Leeds, he's took us up. He failed once, succeeded once in the Championship. Let's be honest. I'm not going to go into all the intricacies because we all know them, and I touched on them. He's in the Premier League, and he's on the verge of absolutely cataclysmically failing again. So I want to talk about, this leads me on quite easily to the 49ers, and I'm not going to go into all the different things that people think I'm going to go into about the the different metrics in which we can hold them against and what they said in the summer and all. I don't want to go all that. All I want to talk about is the transfer windows coming up. So we have 6 weeks or so. And in the transfer window, obviously, I think we do have funds. I looked at PSR. I'm not going to go through the intricacies of it. I looked at the different reports and different journals that have come out and basically rubbished reports saying Leeds don't have money and all that jazz, and we're flying close. And basically what they're saying is, and this is a number of different ones, they're saying basically Leeds United's owners or 49ers are telling Porky Pigs, they're covering the tracks for the summer, blah, 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 blah. Long and short of it is, we've got money. What I want to touch on is this. Whether we've got 150 million, we don't have to spend it. We don't have to spend that. I named 4 players yesterday that are apparently into the last 6 months of their contracts that can negotiate a way out. Melier, Darlow, Kearns and Byram. Now, I didn't include yesterday Perry. Perry's obviously a keeper. I said that we have 3 keepers. That's on that list. So we've got 4 players potentially that could leave. We have 24-man squad, and under 21s don't need to be registered. Get Darlow signed. That will leave you a 21-man squad. Get rid of Byram because he's not Premier League. He's nowhere near it. Let Kearns go and bring Mahadi in, because Mahadi doesn't count as a senior player because he's under 21 and he's in that squad. Playing very well, actually. And then why don't we go out and bring in 4 players? We have a 21-man squad with a goalkeeper, and you've just signed Kiara Darlow to an extension, which leaves 4 more spaces. Coincidentally, we need attacking players. And people will turn around and say, and I have seen it, well, our defence is shite, we've let in 20 goals. Yes, we have. 5 of them against Arsenal, 3 of them against Brighton, 3 of them against Forest. How many's that? That's 11. 11 goals in 3 games. So 8 games this season, we've let in about a goal a game. Which is okay. But we'll have to look at and analyse those 3 games that we have let the 3 goals in. Right? And I'm not going to go into an analysis. However, what I have looked at and have seen, every time, and I went into the Aronson thing about him moving into the midfield, and then Bogle can't get forward, and there's a hole there, and he's pressed back, and defensively, that's huge, and I'll tell you why it's huge. Leeds United, going into the Premier League, we must defend from the front. We must defend from the front. It means you need to press. You need to press as a unit. You need to press as a team. Somebody needs to start it off. Usually it's DCL. You see DCL closing people down, and nobody's doing anything else. And there's a big thing that concerns me, because that's coming from the touchline. My point is this: if you invest in the right people in January, then, and I mean in the attack, then what happens is the ball doesn't always constantly come back at us. So, for example, somebody said, Perry is no good at his feet. Perry's shite. Perry, I don't like Perry. He's difficult. He's cumbersome. He's this. I'm going to tell you something. I used to be a goalkeeper. I played at a very good level. This is years ago, and it's over here. So it's not anywhere near England. But what I will tell you is this: if the ball is continually coming to you, and every time you get the ball and you look up and there's nothing to your right, your full back is Bogle, and he's here, and what you see in front of him is at least two men, and all it is space. You're not kicking there unless you're under pressure. Perry's got 2 options. He plays it to Okafor, who's probably getting double teamed. He plays it over the midfield because we're losing the midfield battle, or he plays it to DCL. The problem with playing at the DCL, and 90% of the time it's going up there, or Nemanja, they're battling against 2 centre-backs and possibly a number 4. And if he does win the ball, there's nobody near him. So it's not an issue with Perry. The problem is it is an issue with Perry, but it's ultimately no fault through of his own, because he has to get rid of that ball. We can't play it short because we can't play it from the back because we're shite. We're bottom of the table. We're bottom part of the table. Shouldn't be playing out from the back. It's absolutely mental if you're playing out from the back. I was going to say a word that absolutely ruined me before, so very close to it. It's mental. You're creating your own downfall if you play out from the back as a bottom third club in the Premier League. The teams will destroy you. We're coming up against top players in the next 4 games, and Daniel Farke, if he plays out from the back, he's done. If you move into the defence, we see so much. Bornau is the worst amount. Oh, he's the worst money we've ever spent. Explain why. Why? I'm waiting. Give me 1 minute of Premier League football that man's played. 1 minute. I'm going to explain something here. Sebastian Bornau is a centre back. He came through at Anderlecht. Very good club in Belgium. Very big club. He went to Cologne in 2019-2020. He then ended up going to Wolfsburg. We bought it for 14 million. And then we bought him. And when we bought him, people were happy. People were happy. You got him for what, 5.1 million or whatever it was. He can play right back or right centre back, or he can play left centre back. He's big. He's tall. He's strong. He's played for his country. And the problem is this. People look at the Sheffield Wednesday game and they tend to blame Bielsa and they tend to blame Bornau, and they don't give any issue to any other player in that pitch that day. None. But they're holding it against Bielsa and Bornau. We need to get real, guys. We need to get real here. The lad has not played. I'll be brutally honest with you. I'm not backing him up. I'm just saying give the man a chance. I think he's going to go because he has to go for his own career. He has to play. He has to go on loan. He has to play football. But I'm going to tell you something here. When you've got Pascal Struijk, who's very good in his left, very comfortable taking the ball out of defence, and Bielsa, who loves defending, and you've Rodon, who again, Rodon is by far and away the best defender at the club this season. But I don't think Daniel Farke has given our defence a chance. No chance. I think we have got to play to our strengths, and I don't think we'll see it under Farke. We've got to change shape. 3-5-1-1. That's what I would play. 3-5 up until the 1st of January, and you can bring replacements in. Something has to change with the people that we have. 3-5-1-1. That's what I would play, and I would play all three centre backs there. Bornau's your number 4. Why not? And you can go into the 2 in the centre back. Ethan Ampadu can drop in if required. I just think it's we need to start to take games to teams, and I think our 2 fullbacks need the shackles took off them. They need to be in. I would look at our 2 fullbacks now as wing backs and get them on the ball and get the ball in the box and get help to DCL. You get them 2 men. Gabby Godmanson is brilliant going down that left wing. Bogle, brilliant going down the right wing. Get them on the ball and get them to put the ball in the box. DCL up front. Get somebody in and around his feet. Get somebody. I'm not touching on the midfield even yet. Okafor could play in behind him. The Magic can come on and play behind him, play long ball. At least have something. Something. We have players who people say they're not good enough. Oh, blame the players. Don't blame the manager. You gotta blame the players. Okay, I hear you. I hear that point. I've just called out a few. Some of those players have not played well enough. We all know that. But if you look at the players that we have, DCL, 8 seasons in a row in the Premier League, England international, scored for his country, scored goals for Everton in the Premier League. Nemacha, He's been playing in top flight in Germany. Bielsa, top flight in Italy. Comfortably one of the best defenders outside of the top 3 or 4 in Italy. But now he's been playing over Wolfsburg in Germany. Top flight. Regular. Gabby Goodmanson playing for Lille. European football as well. Top flight in France. Brilliant. Perry. People say Perry's not good enough. Man's been playing in Lyon. European football as well. Europa League. These men are all good enough. They're all good enough. I haven't touched Noah Okafor. We're not getting the best out of him. And that's not his fault. We're not getting the best out of Bielsa. It's not his fault. If you're facing attack constantly as a centre back, you're going to concede goals. It's just the way it is. If Perry is going to, if you cut back 3 times against Brighton, there's nothing a keeper can do. Forest, the exact same. He needs to do better when 1 goal at Forest, that's fine. Arsenal, he had no chance in any of those goals. People can talk all they want, but unless you're a keeper, you don't understand. If your natural body's going that way and the ball, listen, Perry's a good goalkeeper. The problem that we have is that we have not found the best formation for our players right now. We're not getting the best out of our players. Longstaff, 7 years in the Premier League for Newcastle. Played Champions League last season, scored against PSG. Look, if anybody comes out and says these players aren't good enough, they're talking through their back door. So they're talking through their arse. They are. We're not getting enough out of them. And why? Because we're not playing to their strengths. We're not playing to Don James' strength. Don James, yes, he's been injured. Brendan Aronson's been playing. Why? Willie Gnonto was fit in the last game. Why is Brendan playing? You can say he's the best player. Oh, Brendan Aronson's been good this season. Really? 1 goal? 1 assist? What else has he done? Runs about. Never in position. Never help. He helps Bogle and then goes and hides. Trying to do a pirouette 10 yards from the bloody penalty, our own penalty box. What's he doing? There's a reason Bogle is more effective with Don James. There's a reason why Don James is effective with Jayden Bogle. I'm not saying they're both out of this world, they're not, but they work as a team. We get more benefit out of both of them. So yes, we can the players take blame? Absolutely, of course they can. They've got a personal responsibility, they're professionals. They've got to take blame. However, Daniel Farke is getting absolutely nowhere near these players' potential. And why is that? It's not always about the players. Maybe it's because they don't understand what he wants. Maybe he's just lost some of the changing room. Maybe there's a few players in that changing room that don't want him or don't fancy him. Think he's out of his depth. That's what I personally believe. The transfer window coming up is massively important. And the reason why it's massively important is twofold. Firstly, we have to stay in the Premier League, of course, and we have to bring in reinforcements, as we touched on earlier, especially from the attack. Those that can, yes, create, but also defend. We have to defend from the front. Secondly, are we, i.e. the 49ers, investing in the transfer window for Daniel Farke? Or are we investing in the transfer window for the next manager? And that's an important question, and I'll tell you why. Daniel Farke has a style of play, and the new manager has got to change. He has to change it up. Simple as that. If a new manager comes in. So for me, the 49ers are absolutely, they have to be planning for this window. They have to be. They messed up royally in the last window at the end. They've got to be on it for this window. The first 2-3 days have got to be on fire. Got to be. There's no two ways about it. Saying that, they have got to be backing whoever the manager is. We know it's probably not going to be Farke. So that, I don't know what, the question in my mind right now is this. Are they speaking to the man that's coming in to replace Farke? Do they know who's replacing Farke? For example, Rosa is my favourite at the minute, and I have seen a report today, actually, it's in Dutch, so I had to get it translated. A couple of decent outlets over there reporting to Rosa, and he hasn't spoke to them yet. However, apparently Ajax are interested in him. But some people say he's not good enough. So he's managed Mönchengladbach, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig, and Ajax are after him. But he's not good enough for Leeds United, who are fighting relegation. Okay. Excuse me if I don't listen to the idiots at the back of the room. I believe that we know who we're taking in. It's just a matter of tying up loose ends, getting the backroom staff, etc. over the line, getting the deal sorted. If that takes to after the Villa game, possibly the City game, I think then if we lose to Villa and if we lose to City, I think Daniel Farke goes, and it'll be a very quick turnaround. It'll not be let's wait for 3 weeks and get an interim in. I think they've already got this sorted. They know exactly who they're dealing with, who they're bringing in. They're probably working through the January transfer window and targets with the new manager. And I think it's probably better that Farke sits where he's at right now, and basically we don't have to deal with an interim. That's from a 49ers perspective, whereas I think from Farke's perspective, he's hoping he can fight and keep his job. I just think it's done. It's long done. I'm hoping it's done. There's a couple of different, I'm not going to go through the whole squad of players, but there's a couple of people that I want to highlight. One of those people is Harry Gray. And people, Perot's not good enough. He's just not good enough for the Premier League. I think personally we should sell Perot. If we really want to stay up, sell Perot, and add players to the squad. The reason why I bring up Harry Gray this season in the Premier League 2, he's 17 years old. We all know he signed a new deal and all that, and he's a youth player, so he doesn't count in your squad. Harry Gray has played 6 games, scored 5 goals, 1 assist. He's just under 6 foot. Mental. EFL trophy, 2 goals, 2 games, 1 assist. So in 9 games this season, he's got 7 goals, 2 assists. He's playing for the under-17, England under-17s 5 times, under-16s 5 times. When are we going to give the man a shot, the lad a shot? When are we going to give the lad a chance? Harry Gray could be a complete enigma. He could be the Alan Smith of this era, this generation, i.e. with better quality. He could really kick on. You need to go, instead of going Perot and basically you've no pace, you bring on Gray. The likelihood is the defence don't know a lot about him. He's a cub. He's only a cub. And the fans are going to be patient with him. The fans are going to get behind him. Bring him on to Elland Road. Get him on the pitch. I'm not saying you start him at all. You've got DCL and Nemacha. But if you play Harry Gray off DCL or Nemacha, it would be... I just think it could be something big. I'm just saying. And actually, it could end up saving you millions because you don't have to go out and sign another striker. Just saying. You could end up selling Perot, bring in a striker, And Harry Gray could be coming on for cameos at 17 years old, 15 minutes here and there. I think it's crazy that we're not even looking at it. Charlie Crew, he's with the Wales under 21s. They got destroyed last night with Belarus. I think it was Belarus. You know, Charlie Crew, is he going to come through? Hopefully he develops. We'll see. But listen, we've got some really good youth coming through. Why not use it? Why not? We are a club steeped in history that we gave our young lads the opportunity. In the early 90s, when I was growing up, Ian Hart, Gary Kelly, Tinkler, there was so many lads come through. Even Harry's dad, Andy. There's so many lads that came through and were given opportunities. People call him Judas, but Harry Kuehl, Alan Smith. We could go through so many people that Stephen McPhail. There's so many. Johnny Woodgate, Lee Boyer, Paul Robinson. Yeah, this is all my era growing up. That was my era. And for the last 5 years, anybody that we've ever had decent coming through really went. Archie went. He was the biggest one since probably then. You had Aaron Lennon and people like that, but he was going up and we were going down. He had to go, but right now, let's give that lad a chance. He is such. If he's meant to be better than Archie, why are we holding him back? This is one of the things that I really hate about Farke. He just seems not to like or trust the youth. Why not? Why not? You do not know if he'll be a diamond until you put pressure on him. Simple as that. Anyway, moving forward, been on too long. As I say, these are things that just were in my head. I just wanted to talk about. Just wanted to see if anybody else was ever thinking about things like these and whatever. Internationals are on. AO played last night, which is good for him because obviously he's fourth choice. He's not getting a lot of game time with ourselves, so any games is good. However, he's thousands of miles away, so it's quite bloody difficult. Whenever we come back, you've got Gruev tonight. You've the Welsh boys tonight. I'm hoping and praying to come through, all of them fit. We need Rodon. He's a warrior. He needs to be fit. We need Don James. Please, Lord, please don't pick up anything. Please come through it. Okay. Amps I'm not too concerned about because personally I think Stack and Longstaff, go two in the middle and drop Ampadu. That's what I would do. Right now I would not be playing a 4-3-3. If I'm playing to hold my job, I'm going 4-2-3-1 and I'm taking a game. I'm taking the game to Villa. I'm telling you, I'm taking the game to them. Longstaff and Stack in the 4, Longstaff can patrol in front of him, and I would play Okafor, Willie and Don James in behind DCL, and I would just go for it and just play football. Play it. Instead of stopping a team, let's go and play them. Let's go and try and beat them 3-0. If you get beat 4-3, go down swinging. Yeah. Anyway, there are other players in international duty. We can touch on them. Listen, I've been on plenty of time. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Again, make sure you jump on to watch Donny. Donny has a completely different opinion on things than me. Donny Talks Leeds. He's a completely different opinion of things that I have. Please watch him, because I'll tell you why. It's good to know where we all stand. As I say all the time, just because you maybe don't agree with him, it's great to understand where he's coming from, because we're all Leeds fans. We're all coming from a place of love. We're all coming from a place of passion. This club means the world to us all. Just because we don't agree on a specific point or a thing or a manager or whatever, or formation, we all want the same outcome. We all want to win. So if Donny turns around and he is making his point and you disagree with it, get in his comments. Let him know. Have the debate. Same as myself. Get in the comments. Have the debate. More than happy. I'll address anybody on here. Anybody. I will come up. I look at the comments. I respond to the comments. And I'll address anybody on here through this. And we'll see where it goes. 100%. Why not? I see other people just ignore the people that comment on them. Why? Get in your comments. If the people are decent enough to watch you, respond to them. Just saying. Anyway, like, imagine not being Leeds. Thanks to shout out last night again. I probably, at the minute, me and Marty probably see a lot of things eye to eye. It's great to listen to those three debate. They're all very similar in how they're looking at the club. Last night, you gotta watch that. Please go and watch it. But there's different attitudes or intricacies within each argument. So it's great to see. Listen, this is the great thing about YouTube. Not just YouTube, other platforms. X is toxic at times, but if you go to other platforms and see and other content creators, just talk to each other. We're fans of Leeds. We're not fans of Farke. Let's not fall out over Daniel Farke or whatever. You might have a disagreement on something. Let's debate it. Let's argue. Let's get our points across. But ultimately, I'll be in the Peacock having a beer before the game, chilling, along with somebody that has a different opinion than me. And we're both going to go in and cheer every time Leeds score. And we're going to probably cry every time we concede. So what the fuck are we arguing about? All Leeds, aren't we? All Leeds, aren't we? Anyway, on. Marching on together. Love yous all. Thanks for subscribing. Get in the comments. And see you on the other side.